Chimpanzees and humans are closely related as they are both primates and share a common ancestor that lived about 6 to 8 million years ago. In fact, chimpanzees are our closest living relatives, with DNA sequences that are about 98% similar to humans. Chimpanzees and humans also share many anatomical and physiological similarities, such as opposable thumbs, forward-facing eyes, and the ability to walk upright. They also have similar social behaviors, such as living in communities and using tools to accomplish tasks. However, there are also significant differences between humans and chimpanzees in terms of cognitive abilities and behaviors. Humans have a much larger brain and more advanced language abilities, as well as cultural practices and complex social structures that are not observed in chimpanzees. Interestingly, researchers have just announced that an all-out war has been observed between a group of chimpanzees and gorillas, something that's quite surprising as these two groups have never been seen doing this before. It's a first, and researchers said it gives them a great opportunity to observe why this is happening. The incident happened in the Loango National Park back in 2019, with the study going on to report that it's happened more than once. Those who were close by when it happened reported that it was the chimpanzees who first attacked, saying that they outnumbered the gorillas. Researchers who gathered data on the attack said that it was strange that this happened, and that they are working to get to the bottom of why both the chimps and gorilla were much more aggressive than normal. Both times an infant gorilla passed away due to injuries. A new study that's looking at the fighting between the two is being carried out by researchers who were on the scene, with them saying that although their aggression is strange and that it hasn't been seen before, they have some theories for why this may have happened, which include the two groups being territorial or competing for food sources. Tobias Deschner from the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Germany said the following: "Our observations provide the first evidence that the presence of chimpanzees can have a lethal impact on gorillas. We now want to investigate the factors triggering these surprisingly aggressive interactions." End quote. We are constantly learning more and more about chimpanzees, but one thing that researchers have noticed is that when pushed, they can be very aggressive and will even take on humans if they stand in their way. This has been demonstrated in areas around Uganda, and as of right now, chimpanzees living in these areas are losing their habitats, and some wildlife experts have said that they are well aware of who is responsible. They've observed humans pulling down the local forests, and they've said that it angered the chimps so much that they've decided to spark a conflict between humans and apes. Although this storyline may sound familiar, the researchers observing the chimps have said that it's almost as if they've had enough, and that they've been observed watching humans from a distance while they tear down the forests. One of the first incidents was recorded when chimps observed the forest being torn down, with wildlife experts saying that they were then observed heading towards nearby crops. Due to the habitat loss, the chimp were able to come much closer to the edge of the forest and see where the humans would return. Scouts were then said to follow some of the humans back, and this is when they found nearby crops. Once they found this, the group was called in and they started to raid the area. The group were able to take plenty of crops for themselves and even attacked humans. This bold move was successful, and it only gave the chimps more confidence. This, along with other traits, has made experts put forward the theory that chimps won't back down from conflict if they know they are getting something out of it. The incident in Loango happened back in February of 2019, and it involved a group of 18 chimpanzees and 5 gorillas. The incident happened when the two were passing into each other's territories, with the battle lasting just under an hour. The next meeting between the two groups happened in December 2019 and lasted an hour and 20 minutes. This happened because a chimpanzee encountered a gorilla while it was doing a border patrol. Those who witnessed the event said that because the chimps outnumber the gorillas, they were able to separate an adult female gorilla from its infant, which eventually led to it losing its life. The other gorillas were able to retreat, but it's noted that the chimpanzees did also sustain various injuries. The wildlife experts said that it was sad to see the two groups go at each other, and that as of right now they are working to better understand what could have caused this encounter to escalate. Tobias Deschner said the following: "It could be that sharing of food resources by chimpanzees, gorillas, and forest elephants in the Loango National Park results in increased competition and sometimes even lethal interactions between the two great ape species." End quote. Simone Pieker from the University of Osnabrück in Germany said the following: "We are only at the beginning to understand the effects of competition on interactions between the two great ape species in Loango. Our study shows that there is still a lot to explore and discover about our closest living relatives, and that Loango National Park, with its unique mosaic habitat, is a unique place to do so." End quote. The research encountered on the two groups was published in scientific reports. The battle between a silverback gorilla and a chimpanzee would normally go one way, and that would be in favor of the larger silverback gorilla. Gorillas are also the world's largest primates, but working out how strong they are is difficult. Many sites report that a gorilla can lift from 4 to 30 times their body weight, but wildlife experts have said that this number is closer to 10 to 15 times their body weight. They also have one of the strongest bite forces in the animal kingdom, and this doesn't come down to the teeth, but rather the massive neck muscles. The average weight of a gorilla is 140 kilograms, but it's reported that they can weigh up to 267 kilograms. When compared to that of an adult lion, it's estimated that a silverback gorilla is over 4 times as strong, with its bite force being twice that of a lion. The difference between a chimpanzee and a gorilla is that the much larger gorilla is actually much more calm, and the chimp is much more unpredictable. Gorillas have shown great sophistication when they are in the wild, but chimps seem to be more intelligent. The researchers have said it's likely that this battle in Loango National Park will continue all the time the two groups are encountering each other. Gorillas seen dismantling poacher traps. We often forget how similar we are to our ape relatives. While we may hold ourselves in higher esteem compared to the other primates currently living on Earth, we actually share almost 99% of our DNA with chimpanzees. In fact, chimpanzees have been observed hunting for meat, showing body language, and even using tools. But it was one site of our distant relative, the gorilla, that had primate researchers going bananas. Staff at the Dian-Fossey Gorilla Fund Karasoke Research Center in Rwanda saw gorillas destroying poacher traps. Working together, a pair of 4-year-olds and a teenage mountain gorilla cooperated in dismantling traps that are known to harm younglings. It was the first time that primate researchers were able to witness up close how gorillas go about destroying the poacher traps. Gorilla Program Coordinator Veronica Vecellio said the following: "We knew that gorillas do this, but all of the reported cases in the past were carried out by adult gorillas, mostly silverbacks. How they did it demonstrated an impressive cognitive skill." End quote. The discovery showed that even younger gorillas are able to identify and learn how to safely eliminate the threat of the snares. It came as more of a surprise as it was only 2 days earlier that another infant gorilla had been taken out by a poacher trap. Even in grief, which gorillas have been observed practicing, the young primates were able to effectively eliminate the threat of the trap. The discovery was made back in 2012. It was on July 17th, when staff and visitors were viewing some of the planet's last remaining mountain gorillas, that they saw a gorilla approach a snare. As reported by a staff member, a silverback male then signaled a warning to the other gorilla. Amazingly, 2 young gorillas named Dukore and Rwema and a blackback named Tetero maneuvered towards it. In tandem, they worked to dismantle the trap's noose by snapping the branch used to set it. Immediately, they repeated the process on another snare nearby. In photographs taken by the team, you can see the young gorillas looking at the broken sticks that had been used to hide the trap on the forest floor. Together, they jumped on the taut branch attached to a rope noose and removed the rope. They then ran over to another nearby snare and destroyed it the same way. Pictures the staff members took show the young gorillas then examining broken sticks used to camouflage the noose on the ground. It's against researchers' intentions to actively teach gorillas how to dismantle traps, as their intention is to maintain their naturally occurring behavior. Still, they are very pleased the primates are managing it themselves. Vecellio said the following: "Our battle to detect and destroy snares from the park is far from over. Today we can proudly confirm the gorillas are doing their part too." End quote. Wild chimpanzees seem to know 400 words. It's typically taught in schools that chimpanzees are genetically related to humans and that they are believed to be our closest living relative in terms of the animal kingdom. However, what is not as well known is the similarities between our two species. Studies have revealed that chimpanzees appear to be developing a proper language used between them. Scientists have recorded over 900 hours of wild chimpanzees communicating, and they've reported they have discovered several hundred repeating words. Unique words and phrases have been detected in these recordings, meaning that we could be witnessing the developmental phases of basic chimpanzee language. This means we could see how they actually came into being, and how it potentially could have been for our species when we first developed our early languages. Obviously, a chimpanzee's way of communicating differs from ours. They squeak, howl, grunt, bark, or scream. But it has been observed they often do so in various rows and combinations, which could very well be phrases or words. In 2020, Tatiana Bortolato, a German PhD student, spent time in the Thai National Park, which is one of the last areas of primary rainforest in West Africa, where she followed and recorded 46 adult chimps. She then assembled a team of researchers from Switzerland and France to analyze her findings on the aforementioned 900 hours of recorded chimps. In the past, it was thought chimps could make distinctive sounds that resembled letters, but until now, it was not widely thought they were capable of advanced language with words and phrases. Linguists analyzed the chimpanzee sounds to determine whether they were speaking or if the noises they made were randomized. The results proved that yes, they are communicating with words using the estimated 400 calls. Chimps will sometimes combine these calls to make them longer. It's possible the study missed various words due to their pitch. Just like with human speech, certain words might mean different things depending on tone. For example, a greeting grunt differs from a grunt of fear. Unfortunately, the research team were unable to find out what the phrases meant. What they did find was that some words are only spoken at the beginning of a sequence, while others are solely used at the end, reminiscent of human language structures. Chimps are incapable of forming the same number of sounds humans can, but that does not mean they cannot converse between each other. As far as we know, they are the animals with the most advanced vocals. A handful of other animals, such as lemurs, are able to utter sounds in couplets or triplets, but it's nothing compared to the 400 suspected phrases chimps can speak. Further research is being conducted into the matter, primarily to investigate whether they have actual sentences and clauses, or if their form of communication can be truly considered language by our definition. If they do speak in clauses, they have not yet been noticed by biologists. The investigation into chimpanzee communication will likely take a long time, but will hopefully come with fruitful results. As of right now, chimpanzees are endangered. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, chimpanzees are listed as an endangered species, meaning that they are facing a very high risk of extinction in the wild. There are several factors that have contributed to the decline of chimpanzee populations, including habitat loss and degradation, poaching for the illegal wildlife trade, and disease outbreaks. Habitat loss and degradation due to deforestation, mining, and agriculture have resulted in the loss of chimpanzee habitats and forced them to live in fragmented and isolated populations. This makes them more vulnerable to poaching and disease outbreaks. Chimpanzees are also hunted for their meat, which is considered a delicacy in some cultures, and their young are sometimes captured and sold as pets. The illegal wildlife trade has also resulted in the removal of chimpanzees from their natural habitats, further threatening their survival. Conservation efforts are being made to protect chimpanzees and their habitats, such as establishing protected areas, reducing poaching and illegal trade, and promoting sustainable land use practices. However, more action is needed to ensure the survival of chimpanzees in the wild. So, what do you make of these incredible chimpanzee discoveries? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.